And hello, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of the Shabbat Show. We are here live on location in Brooklyn, New York at a boutique matzah factory from a wonderful, amazing, spiritual, holy Hasidic Rebbe, Rav Mordechai Twersky. Rav Twersky is someone who we've had the opportunity to have on our show many times, mostly during the Tisha B'Av holiday, someone who is really, really special and wonderful. And he took his shul, if you can imagine this, the rabbi took his shul and converted the main sanctuary into a boutique matzah factory. And he gives the opportunity to tons of people from all different backgrounds to come in and to actually bake real matzahs. If you think that the matzahs that end up on your table just come out of nowhere, they don't. There's a very specific process to it. Matzah is a very holy food, and it's very much by specific laws. It has to be watched. There's only a few minutes that you can do it. There's a massive oven, and behind me right now are dozens of people that have come in today. We're going to meet some of them just to bake matzahs. If you can see, the whole thing is set up. Everyone's wearing hospital gowns, gloves, masks. They can't touch it because the bread, the leaven, the dough, the water, all has to be in a very pristine state. So we're here live. We're so excited to be within the show. There's so much going on. This show, again, is once again sponsored as a program of the Carl Enoch Goldman Center for Jewish Values, dedicated by Jay Goldman. We thank you very much. And we're excited to be on the show. This show is very important to us for a few reasons. First of all, this is our first live show, and this week marks the 1 year of Shabbat shows. So we've been doing this for a year, and it's an honor to be with you again. And this is really the first time that we get to see this crowd. We speak about Project Inspire, and these are individuals that went with Project Inspire to Israel, that are involved in Project Inspire. These are the people that are part of the programs. And so in many ways, this show brings so much together. Where we've become, think about a year ago, what life was like as the pandemic was taking over communities and we were coming into our homes, and now, thank God, we're able to come out again and think about just how much this means that we're sitting here right now in this incredible place. And thank you so much for joining us. It's an honor to be with you right now. Before they get the opportunity to do this, they have to be prepped. And Rabbi Twersky actually took all the crowd here into a special part of the shul and started to give them the instructions of what they're going to need to actually get this stuff done. Check out Rav Twersky's introduction that just took place just a few minutes earlier than this. Check this out.
First of all, I want to welcome you to our shul and to our Shmura Matzah bakery. Why is it called Shmura Matzah? I mean, it's what you see in the store. Shmura Matzah for Passover. Why is it called Shmura? Who knows what it means? Yeah? Watched. Ah, very good. Tell me, what are we watching it for?
Not to rise a certain amount of time.
Okay, pretty good. Now let me ask, how many of you baked challah of bread? There it goes. What does your mommy put into the bread in order to make it rise?
Yeast.
Yeast, okay. So I'm not putting any yeast, it's just flour and water. Why are we worried about yeast? What about rising? Yes?
Because if it goes past 18 minutes, it's going to become chametz.
What's going to make it chametz? We're not putting any yeast in. What?
Water, when you put in the water.
But what makes the water turn the bread, the flour into chametz? Okay, so I want to give you just a brief perspective. You make a bracha on bread. What do you say? Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Translated means Hashem gives bread from the earth. When was the last time you saw bread growing from the earth? So I want to tell you one of the meanings of what it means is that Hashem put into the earth yeast spores. There is yeast in the air everywhere. And that's why when you squeeze a grape, what makes the grape turn into wine? This yeast that's on the skins of the grapes. As soon as you squeeze the grape, the yeast activates the sugar in the grape juice and turns it into wine. So we know there's yeast everywhere. So the yeast is falling on the wheat in the field. And if the wheat got dry and it rained, the whole crop is chametz. It's already the little wheat berries go pff. The Torah told us, on Passover, on Pesach, no chametz. Why not? It's so strange. And none of that, does anybody know what the consequence for chametz is on Pesach? It's heavy stuff. It's called kares, which is a really heavy consequence. And I said, nothing, no other food that we have, in the morning you can eat it, at night, Passover. What makes that way? It says because you read the Torah says that when Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim, He took the children of Israel out of Mitzrayim, out of Egypt. When did we become a people? When we left Mitzrayim. Until then, we were the descendants of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our forefathers, but we were just children. We became the children of Israel as a people when Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim, took us through the Red Sea, gave us the Torah at Mount Sinai. That's when we became a people. So when the Torah says, in Mitzrayim, when we were slaves, we couldn't eat, they didn't give us a chance to eat bread. They just make it quick, flour and water, throw it on a hot stone and eat it. Of course, they didn't let the slaves eat bread. Nobody had time. And when we left Mitzrayim, we left it right after the 10th plague. We left it in the morning very quickly. They didn't let us even bake the bread the next morning. So to remember that we had matzah in Mitzrayim, the Torah says this is the time when you as a people should remember where you came from. That's where we came from. We came from being slaves to become free people. When? Passover at night, Pesach at night. So we've had people out there in the field watching the wheat before it even got too ripe. And they made sure there was no rain when it was harvested. And they made sure there was no water touched it because the water activates the yeast, makes it chametz. He's got it right. So here's one of Tversky's fun lines. Okay, you squeeze grapes, you get wine. You harvest the wheat, add water, you get bread. Okay, this is for the adults. What happens when you put pressure on a date? You get a family. Okay, so we're going to have some fun. We're going to have some fun, but it's going to be. But on the other one hand, it's serious because you're going to make matzahs, and I don't want you to be reliable for chorus. And anybody's going to use equipment after you has to have. So we make sure that we keep the matzah factory clean in between each cycle. We'll describe it down so we get down there. There are 4 mitzvahs that the Torah gives us for the Seder for Pesach, for the first night of Pesach. What are the 4 mitzvahs? Matzah. Come on. Maror. Haggadah. Talk about going out of Mitzrayim. Right? And the 4th one? Korban Pesach. The sacrifice of Pesach. They take a lamb or a goat and brought it up to the Beis HaMikdash and slaughtered it there and offered part of it on the altar, and the rest they took home to eat that night. How many of you did a Korban Pesach last year? None of us. Why not?
Because there isn't the Beis HaMikdash.
You know, we say that we should cry, right? Because there's no Beis HaMikdash, so the homeland of the Jewish people is not secure. We are not secure as a people. They still want to persecute us. They still want to make us wander again. They'd like to throw us out of wherever we are. And since we've been wandering and wandering and wandering and wandering, because there's no Beis HaMikdash, there's no temple. And therefore we can't do the Korban Pesach. So I got a problem. If there is no Korban Pesach, then there's really no mitzvah maror. To eat the bitter herbs without the meat, we just do it to remember. Drabanan. If there is no Korban Pesach, there's no sacrifice, there is no more bitter herbs, then we're missing 2/3 of what we're supposed to be talking about at the Seder. So we read the Haggadah, we're just talking about it, but we're not fulfilling it. There's only one mitzvah that we have that Jews have been doing for 3,316 years and 11 months and 23 days and 7 hours. Matzah. Matzah, an unbroken chain. Jews baked matzahs in Egypt and in Israel, in Babylon, in Persia, Jews baked matzahs in Spain during the Inquisition. Jews baked matzahs in Siberia. Jews baked matzahs in Auschwitz. I know a person who told me that he believed that the greatest merit that he ever had in his life while he had his Jewish children and grandchildren is because they baked matzahs in Auschwitz. He told us in the spring of 1944. He was in Auschwitz with a couple of friends. They said, well, we're not going to have matzah. How can we have Pesach without matzah? So every day they would give them a piece of bread. They gave a piece of bread and some potato soup. That was what they lived on. For 3 weeks before Pesach, they went back to the kitchen and traded in their piece of bread for a handful of flour. And for 3 weeks, they almost starved. They managed to accumulate about 3 kilos of flour, water there was. They stole empty wine bottles from behind the Nazi barracks. They stole a bowl from the kitchen and some forks. And in the barracks was still a little metal stove, and they managed to scrounge around enough wood for 3 weeks, little pieces of wood. And the night before Pesach, the night before the Seder, at midnight, when everybody else was asleep, they heated up the stove, mixed the dough, rolled it out with a wine bottle, stuck it with the forks, and baked matzahs. He says, we had matzahs in Auschwitz. That's how important what you're about to learn. You're about to learn how to make matzahs as Jews have baked matzahs for 3,300 years. So you're the next link in that chain. This is the beginning of all the future Passovers in your life. So we're going to now go downstairs and get ready. However, both because we have to be clean enough for Passover and because of the situation that we're all in today, when you go downstairs, you're going to wash your hands. There are 2 sinks right there when you come in. There's also 2 sinks downstairs in the kitchen. There are soap and scrub brushes by each sink. Scrub your hands with cold water, soap and scrub brush to get anything off the surface. Warm water, soap and a scrub brush. Make sure your hands are really clean. Rinse them cool because we want you to have cool hands. And once you have that, then we're going to give you disposable hospital gowns and aprons, and you have masks and rubber gloves. And then we're going to go in and I'll teach you how to make matzahs. Okay?
Welcome back to the show, and we're sitting here live from Brooklyn, New York in a boutique matzah factory. We're getting ready for Passover. For those of you who want additional Passover resources, check it out on projectinspire.com. Projectinspire.com. There's a Haggadah with explanation, things to download. Check it out. There's tons of stuff for your Seder. I'm now here joined with a very good friend of mine. It is an honor to have him on. Rabbi Shlomo Farhi is here. He is the rabbi of the Edmund J. Safra Synagogue in the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Rabbi, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This is first of all, it's an absolute honor. I think a lot of people know Charlie Harary, the legend.
Oh, boy.
And I know Charlie Harary, my friend.
That's
so
right.
Coming in here
That's
and
right.
seeing you wearing the mic like you're, you're broadcasting the Super Bowl.
That's what we're doing. This is bigger than the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl doesn't do this.
Especially not this year.
Exactly. The clock's much tougher on this game, by the way, let me tell you.
Well, in Syrian, the letters of Mahomes are very similar to the letters of Hamas. So, and he went down as well.
He went down, exactly. It's so good to have you on. Rabbi Farhi and I know each other for so long. Now, Rabbi, you're about to lead a congregation into the holiday of Passover. So you're going to have the Seder. There's so many things that's going on in your life right now. As people are preparing for Pesach, what should they have in mind? It's literally Thursday night. So that means we're going in, and sometimes I think there's a little bit of an overload. You're going in, you're preparing, and you got so much going on in your head, and you could lose the moment. You can go in with 40 things to say, 20 things going on, everything's all over the place, and before you know it, you're halfway through the Seder, you're like, where am I? What are some of the things that you counsel, you teach, you advise your congregants in terms of how to get the most out of the Seder?
One of the things I love to talk about is this idea that the Seder is really like a full-on 4D experience. It exists in all these different dimensions. You have the smell, the taste, the sound, the hearing of the story, the drinking. There's so many different pieces that kind of come together and make this tapestry into something which you can almost taste and feel. And there was this unbelievable moment in the Torah where it says that as you guys are eating from the Korban Pesach, I want you to make sure that you're eating it with your coats on, buttoned. and you got to have your walking stick
Right.
in your hand.
Right.
Like, if you could think of a less comfortable way,
to eat that much meat.
Exactly. And I'm just imagining, like, back in the day, like, they're all sitting there, and some people are like, are we sure about this guy? Like, he's amazing, but he's killing dinner.
Right. The walking stick, for real?
Right, and they're told about how to eat it. Like, don't break any bones. Like, and every guy is just sitting there thinking to themselves, what's going on? And I think that was kind of an investment forever, to recognize that as much as you could, the presentation and the way you were getting into it was as much a part of it as any part that was on the table.
Yeah.
So the preparation is great, but once you're there in the moment, the idea that you're eating as if you're ready to leave, like right now, that's something that that urgency, I think part of all that work gives it that feeling. So I kind of like to, instead of shutting it out and being zen, I love the urgency.
Yeah.
Because it mimics in some tiny way what they must have been feeling back then,
Yeah, absolutely. I think very much so, the idea that you're in that moment now. And I think sometimes when the Seder comes, there's a certain exhaustion that takes place. People are like we got here, like, can we sleep? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people are like, finally we made it, and like it's clean and we're doing it. And there's also a certain amount of, and this is such an important thing that I've learned, at least in my life. And I don't know if you have the same experience. One time I called my rabbi from Israel, and I said, Rabbi, I've been preparing for so long. I got so many things on my head. Like, what's the one thought? Like, what's the one kavanah? What's the one intention? Like, give me, like, a really, like, Kabbalistic one. Like, give me one that, like, you don't tell people. Like, it's me and you, it's like I'm going into the...
Give me the goods.
Give me the goods. Like, tell me, like, think about, like, look at the stars at 12:02, So he's like, I have a great one for you. I'm like, all right, I'm ready. So he's like, like the kids around the table? Yeah. Like, how hard your wife worked? I'm like, yeah. He's like, how about you focus on making them happy and have a good time? I'm like, that can't be it. There's no way that's it. He's like,
the Zohar says, Havi good Abba.
Yeah, like, be a good guy. And it's so, I think that sometimes when the Seder comes, we forget that the kids are looking, and the family and the people around are looking at, like, hey, how much do you enjoy this religion? How much do you enjoy what we're doing? And if we don't have a certain sense of, we're going to talk about a lot. We're right behind the Matzah factory. We're going to have a lot to talk about in terms of what are some of the symbolisms. But to sort of set the path and the table right from the beginning, which is, the end of the day, if you're having a good time and you're happy to be there and you're not rushing through it to get to the food and you're there and you're saying, this doesn't come a lot, the entire... whoever you have around the table is going to feel it, and it's going to be a good experience. But if there's like that tension, there's like, the minute there's a feeling of, perfection or tension, then you're almost setting yourself up for failure.
I know what you mean, and I actually, there's one thing that kind of, as you were saying this earlier, I was just thinking, I was like, Charlie, are we losing half of the audience? And let me I was giving a speech the other day in the synagogue, and I was talking to them about all these preparations they had to do, and and I just realized, like about half of the people in the room are going to be away on a Passover program. So you're like, the exhaustion. They're like, oh yeah, that trip is very tiring.
The pool was exhausting.
All day in the sun, it was so hard, and now I have to stay up, and I'm feeling a little bit burnt. So I feel like we're in this new era where. Pesach Seder in many different places and in many different houses is different than it once was. And I think actually what's going on behind this, I don't know if the camera is capturing this.
Yeah.
There's like a bunch of guys and their dads and like their sons are walking past. This is amazing because like even before they get to the Seder table, whatever it looks like, however exhausted or not exhausted, because you meet people who ordered the food from on Uber Eats, you know what I mean, a half hour before. So I've seen like all these different types of Seders. But I do think that the kind of this prep, that for some people the Seder is just like going into the store and buying the matzah. And I just remember this guy coming up to me once in a supermarket, and he pulled out Manischewitz Tam Tams, which is like as chametz could be, right? It's literally crackers, right? And he's like, are these them? He thought they'd made them like bite-sized, like
the
finally
matzahs.
got their act together.
Right.
And instead of the big ones that keep breaking, like they finally got like...
And it tastes amazing. It tastes just like bread. It tastes just like
I
hummus.
can't believe it's not chametz. So, but for this guy, like, clearly this is not a guy who was putting in the time, who was exhausted. He didn't
Yeah.
really know much, but he was so excited. Like, are these them? And I was like, no. And I thought how interesting it was that the name on the brand was Tam Tam, which is the child in the Haggadah. That's simple. He's like, Mazot, what is this? And I was like, this is just too perfect. I can't explain, but maybe
I'm
soon.
using you as a speech.
Yeah, you
I'm
call me like in 10 years when you're like smarter than me and, are the ones that are writing all the books, and we'll laugh about this, So, but that energy and that excitement, in whatever way you get to it, is amazing. And there's so much to choose from for every person, whatever kind of floats their boat.
Yeah, absolutely. And so much of the Seder is about that. It's about creating an experience for each and every person, for every person to have something unique to them so that it feels good for them. And to your point, which is really the point that we're in right now, which is especially now, which is the night beforehand, really 2 nights beforehand. This year we have a special gift by God, is that before we get to the Seder, we have Shabbat. So really, the key piece really is to prepare, to get ready, to get excited, to walk in with something besides just like rolling into it. And that will enhance the experience for each and every person.
I'm sure lots of people are like thinking, oh gosh, that's what I tuned into this for. Like, I'm sure Charlie's going to give me whatever goods his rabbi gave him. Charlie's my rabbi. So,
I don't know about that.
What kind of goods am
Well,
I?
we got a lot of goods coming up. It's coming up. But until then, check out this amazing video that we have on Pesach that we found, and we'll be right back.
Been trying to recall, was a story like this ever told? Got intervening history for us all, incredibly. From Egypt we did go, didn't even have to do too much. Those templates were surely the right touch, baby. Miracles all around me, the splitting of the Red Sea. They were so strong and now they're gone. Matzah, we're guided by the light. No, we're not slaves now, we have felt your touch. Matzah, they're drowning in the night. We dream of freedom, you're the one we trust. The Passover say to let you know, speaking truth to power, yeah, let's go. Say we're choosing freedom, don't you know? Oh yeah, Matzah, drinking 4 cups of wine, 'cause on this night I'll always feel your love. Hey, hey, hey.
So, Rabbi, thank you again for being here, being a part of this. We are welcome back. We are back with the show right now, live from a boutique matzah factory in Brooklyn. Behind us are dozens of people, all part of Project Inspire, making actual matzahs right now. They're rolling it, getting in within the amount of time. There's a whole production here that our guys have just been prepped on by Rabbi Mordechai Torsky, who has taken them through it. So, Rabbi, we're talking about matzah. Tell us a little bit about some of the symbolism that we can take in. Eating matzah, what should we be thinking about? What are some of the nice ideas that you can share with us about matzah?
I'll tell you, there's so many ideas that that kind of like they're flooding my brain even now as you ask me a question like that. But I'll share with you a couple of the most obvious and as well the most, I think, fundamental to it. Without getting fancy, the most in my eyes, the most important thing about matzah, and especially I could not stress this to be more important in any time other than the time that we're in. Matzah is what it says it is. Matzah doesn't pretend to be something it's not.
Very good.
You know, you think about a generation that we're living in today where everybody's doing this. You know, you think of social media. You think of this perfection that we feel we need to broadcast to the world.
Yeah.
And it's fake. You know,
Yeah.
all it is a little bit of, you know, and that's really what happens. You know, it's the same 2 ingredients as bread, and you just left it hanging out for a little bit, and all of a sudden this chametz thing at 19 minutes is like, hey.
Yeah. It starts to puff up a drop. A little more time.
Yeah. And matzah is just, it is what it is. And I think that there's such a special thing about the symbolism that represents freedom.
Very good.
Freedom is not needing to be something that you're not. That blows me away every time I think about it.
Yeah, that's an unbelievable concept. We're living in a time where, you know, you'd see someone take a picture on their phones, right? You see like their family is on vacation, and you're thinking like, wow, those kids are perfect. Look how they all just naturally dressed in a way that everything matches, and they're all smiling and like, how come my kids are going crazy? Like, you don't realize that. The mom was like, you better stop. I'm going to kill you. Everyone smile. Like, it was picture 7,000.
I had a great idea. We should open this company together. I thought of just like getting pictures of like really beautiful children, you know, and husbands and wives, and then you could sell that like on Instagram. You just take a picture of yourself,
Right, and put it next
then,
to it.
$3 for this, you know, the kid, $4 for happy child at birthday,
Right.
you know, and you could make your life look amazing. And the truth is, in some way, as ludicrous as that sounds, that is what's taking place,
Yeah.
except that you're not paying for it.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, my
it's like,
gosh.
stand here, go do that, be there. No,
Yeah.
smile more,
Right.
you know? And then when
And-
it's done and you get the perfect picture, it's like, okay, now I need to filter it more.
Right. It's such a truism, and it creates a pressure, to your point, which really does take a society that is as physically free as this society, and it enslaves people. It enslaves people to an image that they can't possibly keep up with. And it's an amazing point that I think you're bringing up, which is when you sit around the table and you see matzah, and you understand that the freedom of matzah really is the freedom of recognizing that who you are is good enough.
You know, we've just been through this crazy thing called Corona, you know, and people ask me all the time, they're like, Rabbi, you know, do you think we will have learned something from, do you think it's going to stick with us, these lessons, like the importance of family, you know, what really matters, you know, or we're just going to forget about it and like, we've got it, and it was like, oh, that was amazing, and then we move on in
Right.
2-3 weeks. And I said, I don't know, it's not up to me.
Right.
It's up to you.
Right.
You know, so, you know, we had weddings that went from, you know, 1,000 people in, you know, religious community to 400 to 200, and then at the height of it had a minyan.
Right.
And
A driveway.
And a driveway. And I remember speaking at a bar mitzvah where there was like 20 people, and I said, you know, people at a Corona simcha, at a Corona joyous occasion, they're like dog years. And everyone's like, and I was like, you know, dog years, like each one counts for 7. Like, you know, each Corona guest
Right.
counts for 7, because it's actually only the ones that you really, really need there. And suddenly, you know, this pressure that you have to invite everyone that you ever met, it just dissipated. And we realized, no, I don't. You know, and whether or not that will stick is going to be up to the brave few, you know?
Yeah.
And these lessons that we kind of see in microcosms, I kind of feel a lot of that is what goes on in the Seder.
Yeah.
Think of for a second the maror tradition. Like, we take the maror and we dip it in the charoset, which is everybody's favorite, and like chicken soup.
Only if you're Syrian is it everyone's favorite. By the
Really?
Ashkenazim,
They
yeah.
hate charoset?
Are you kidding me? They have no.
I'm half Ashkenaz. I never heard this.
No, they like charoset, but this the radish, the horseradish is so intense that it doesn't matter. In the Syrian
The
world,
maror ruins the charoset.
yeah, I don't know what it's like for those of you who are coming from different Sephardi backgrounds. You have to tell us. In the Syrian world where we both grew up in, there's so much good stuff coming in that charoset that it's okay. When I went to my in-laws, and my brother, he's like the craziest guy ever. I love him. He put horseradish that is so bitter that you dip it into that charoset, it don't matter. It don't matter. Your eyes, and my brother-in-law is awesome. So he's like just laying it on, and his eyes are tearing. So yeah.
So you know, you dip it in, and I always felt like if you you can never insult two things of a Jewish person: by saying that anyone's other than their wife or mom's charoset or chicken soup is not the best.
Right,
like, you
right,
know?
right.
So you dip it in the charoset, and it kind of gives this sweet flavor. But then there's another dipping, which is the karpas, and that's like a mild,
Yeah.
mild-mannered reporter. You know,
Right.
it was potato or celery,
Celery.
and you dip it in salt water. So in one instance, the dipping is you're dipping in something sweet, and the thing itself is actually bitter. And in one instance, you're dipping in something which is bitter, tears, but actually the inside thing is not all that bad.
Right.
And I kind of feel like that duality really represents life. You know, a lot of times we're looking at really difficult things, and we're like, oh, this is so hard. Let's do everything we can to avoid that. Meanwhile, that was just the outermost layer. That was just a little bit of salt water on the outside. And once you bit into it, like a good workout or a healthy diet or working hard on a job, you actually realize this is great, you know?
Very
And
good.
with maror, it's the opposite. You taste it, it's like, oh, this is amazing. And that is also a big feature of our society, running after these things that we're being told is so sweet. And you know what happens when you eat too much sweet? You know, you lose all your teeth. You know, maybe that's the Russia's antidote. You know, hake echino, not by punching him, but
right.
by
By
giving him
poking
all
him
the
too
sweet
much.
things he wants.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. We did a show 2 weeks ago on Persians. We both think
I cannot comment on.
that's not in your zone.
I
That's
cannot
not-
comment nor deny.
that's
I
not
cannot- I'm a Syrian,
And
Syrian German.
By the way, I learned so much that was going on, and it was awesome. Now, you come from Syrian descent like I do, but you're a Syrian rabbi. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're leading a Syrian congregation. Share with us, if you can, maybe a tradition that you love most that takes place in the Seder from the Syrian descent that our audience can enjoy.
I'd say that there's probably two
Okay.
that are like my favorite.
Okay. I'll tell you which one are mine, but go on.
Okay, I'm sure we share that.
Okay,
one.
I'm going to tell you which one I like better. Go, you start.
Really? Okay, my first one is Mish'arotam.
Oh, the best.
Right?
Okay.
Every member in the family takes the matzah. You know, they sling it over their shoulder. You know, like they are themselves leaving Egypt with a matzah on their shoulder, and then they quote the pasuk that says it.
Yeah.
So it's like this epic, like Shakespearean experience. It's like I have the matzah on my shoulder, and
Where-
to quote the Bible. You know?
And where are you going?
Yeah, and then in Arabic, you know, like, sorry, this is sacrilege, but in Arabic, noch, you know. You know?
For those that are tuning in now, I want to explain to you what's going on. I want you to picture this. For those that come from Syrian descent, you understand what's happening. In the middle of the Seder, they hand you the bag in which the afikomen is, and you put it on your shoulder and you say a verse, and then they ask you in Arabic where you're coming from.
Why don't we do it? Should we do it?
Yeah.
משארותם, סרורות בסמלותם, על שכמם ובני ישראל עשו כדבר משה.
When jeh
ממצרים,
ule'en ra'eh
לירושלים.
ishu zuatak.
מסע ומרור לשנה הבאה בערד ישראל בני חורים.
So that's great for two adult men, but imagine you're 11 years old, understand? And everyone around you is like 40, and they're screaming, Ishuzuata, and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's the most,
Yeah. My Syrian kids are like, I go to Beis Yaakov.
it's the scariest. It is the scariest, most exhilarating time of the Seder. What is your other one time?
It's got to be the end of the Seder. When they sing Who is One in Arabic.
Oh, we don't do that.
Oh my God. من يلام من ندري عمه المجالي من ين واحد واحد رب الحلنا. I was on a Pesach program years ago.
This,
as
by
a
the way,
rabbi.
is happening in 2021 in America. It's probably going to be in the Bahamas and Puerto Rico and everywhere else in the world. This is really going on.
This has never been sung in a shul.
Hasidic shul,
Hasidic
except
shul,
for just
exactly.
now. We're making history here in Project Inspire.
This is Mashiach, by the way, the emerging, the melting pot of 2021 Jewish culture. And I remember we were singing it in one of these like private little rooms in the basement of some, and this like uber American guy, you know, from somewhere in Florida, you know, never met a Jew, never mind a Middle Eastern Jew, comes running in with this concerned look on his face, which told you everything that you needed to know.
Right.
Like he heard people singing in Arabic.
Right, that was it.
And I don't know if he was running towards us or he thought that was the exit, you know. But the guy was so nervous. But then he saw us all. It's like we were just this family, like singing
So
at the
funny.
Seder table.
I love it.
But it was, you know, all of, I think,
it.
the racist tendencies kind of bubbled to the surface.
Right,
He was very scared.
That's great.
It was just about who knows two. I know two, you know.
Right.
Anyway.
We are so pumped to have Jamie Geller back with us right now. We missed Jamie, but she's back with an incredible new recipe. Check out this new video from Jamie Geller.
Thank you, Charlie, so much. And hello, everybody. Wow. It's been so long and I've missed you so much. And I can't think of a better time than to drop in and say hey than the cooking holiday. Passover is nearly here. And this week we're going to share with you our most recent and newest viral video, rainbow colored matzo balls. And the best part is it's all natural ingredients that are going to make your matzo balls a beautiful pink, green, yellow, and even a surprise stuffed matzo ball. So before you get to watching the video, I want to wish you a Shabbat Shalom and a Chag Kasher V'Sameach, wishing you a happy, healthy, amazing holiday, and I can't wait to see you again.
Welcome back to the Matzah Factory. If you can see what's going on behind us, people are actually making matzahs. They're rolling it very quickly. They got to get it into the oven for 18 minutes. So they are rolling it like crazy. They're singing along the way so they don't lose concentration, so they can stay focused on what they're doing. And if you're watching, if you can just take a look a little bit, what's happening here is they're rolling it, they're running it into the oven, they're picking up some new stuff, and off they're going. This is a real factory, and it's our guys. And we have on now the powerhouse, the power source of the Brooklyn Project Inspire group, the man himself. Rabbi Yoni Zakatinsky is on. Rabbi, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Charlie. We're all powerhouses, and thank you for allowing me to come on here today. It's a pleasure to be here with you and to share in the inspiration and what Project Inspire does, etc. And these guys are just amazing. You and I have been on trips together. We've enjoyed the camaraderie and being in Israel. It's just great.
It's awesome, and you look amazing in your hazmat suit.
Thank
and
you.
it's
Thank you.
great
It's a
that
pleasure
at
to
least
be
you're fully protected, and me and the rabbi are fully protected from you, so don't touch him.
Right.
Because then I'll have to change and get totally fumigated again.
This is like Corona on steroids.
Absolutely.
We're bringing it back.
Great.
So I want to talk to you a little bit about what's going on behind us. Who is here? We say it's Project Inspire, but I want to give the audience a little bit more as to who are these guys and just who is your team that you brought tonight to be part of this sort of incredible event.
Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about Brooklyn. Brooklyn has a very diverse element of Jews, and there's a whole community of Jews who came from the former Soviet Union. They themselves came as young children, but specifically their parents came. Now they're professionals. They're doctors, they're lawyers, they're accountants, they're businessmen, and historically, they've been stripped of Judaism back in the former Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Now they come to the United States and they say to themselves, well, it's a free society, free country. What should I be doing? So we've really tapped into them in the sense that they've gone on trips. Both you and I have experienced that on the Momentum trips.
Yeah.
We take them back after the Momentum trips and we follow up with them, that they have one-on-one learning partners. They go to classes. They come to Shabbatons. They experience Judaism, and they're really trying to raise their children with a sense of Jewish identity
And Jewish pride.
Jewish pride,
Which they didn't have in the former Soviet Union.
Correct.
Because it
Correct.
wasn't available to them.
Correct. It wasn't available to them, and they were, stifled. And they come here and they say, "Well, it's a free society, so what am I doing with my child?"
Amazing.
And thank God they've really come a long way. There's amazing stories about them, and you'll meet some of them, and they're just great guys, great families.
Some of the things that we've been talking about the time before you got here was just what the Seder means and being who you are. And just as you're talking, it just dawned on me that here are individuals that when they were kids, they didn't have the chance to maybe even eat matzah, but for sure not to make matzah.
Right.
Just amazing where the world is at.
Right.
That now these guys are able to give their kids this incredible experience.
Right.
And it's just so special that they have that now.
Right.
And we need to understand that. And for those that are out there, this is available now. Like, people should know that we're living in a new world. And
Right.
if you want your family to have a little bit of a taste and a connection, it's available today.
Correct.
You
Let
know
me
what?
say there.
You know what reminds me of? When I was much younger, like last week.
Right, exactly. When you were 41.
My dad and mom took us to Disney World. And adjacent to Disney World was Epcot Center.
Hey.
You guys remember, right?
Yeah, sure.
And you go to Epcot Center and you go through all these different countries, and you have these Russian people, doing all these Cossack dances, and then you go, and then there's these Chinese people with wearing these magnificent robes and doing this dun, 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 right? That was good, wasn't it?
That was
and they're
excellent.
doing all these colorful dance, and it's like, wow, and you're getting to see and interact with the culture of all these things, with the food of all these different cultures, and I just remember as a kid looking around and being like, where the Jews at? Like everybody's here. Like, and on some level, like for many of them, this is like Epcot Center.
Right.
They're bringing their kids, and this is where they get to see, a rabbi full of warmth,
Yep.
really a grandfatherly figure, telling them, come on, guys, we're going to go down. Make sure you don't forget to say L'Shem Matzot Mitzvah, put it in the oven, make sure time is. They're literally getting this experience, and I bet you this is probably a really emotional thing, because if they cry, their matzah turns to chametz.
Right,
So
so
that's
we
very
gotta-
dangerous. But it must be the most emotional thing for some of these people to be able to bring their children to Disney World to experience not another culture, but your own that was denied you.
I want to tell you something, that when we thought of having this program here tonight, I just put it out there on a chat just for a few moments, and we had to limit how many people we could be here because of the situation, etc. And they were just so enthusiastic about coming here tonight and being involved in it. For them, they never experienced anything like this in their lives. They never experienced something. This is something for them and for the children.
Yeah.
And,
just so you see some of the images that are going on right now, as we're even talking, you'll be able to just see what's happening behind us as regular guys are really making matzah.
Right.
This is the matzah they're going to be eating. It's
Right.
not like this isn't fake matzah. They're
It's
making
real
legitimate eating on Pesach, bring it home to your house. Your wife won't kill your matzah, and that's an amazing thing. That it's just incredible that that's available today, and it's great to hear. And thank you so much for doing this. Thanks for being who
My
you
pleasure,
are
Charlie.
and leading the charge over here.
That's right.
And,
We're all in this together.
and I
Charlie.
really hope the people that are watching understand what's available, and that they take advantage of these programs that are available in Brooklyn. I mean, this isn't you're sitting in the middle of the heart of Brooklyn.
Absolutely.
And there are hundreds of thousands of people around you.
Right.
Then if people should take advantage of this. And
I just want to say one last thing. I just want to say, if you see who's really here, it's the fathers and the sons. And it could be the mothers and the daughters, it could be the families, etc. But the future of the Jewish people are the children. And that's what we're seeing here tonight. And they're so proud of the children. They want to give them Jewish identity. I say to everybody out there in the audience, it's all about our children. It's all about our future. And you should be blessed. And we should all take this meritorious.
I hope that when the camera goes out there, actually, they need to really zoom in, not just to get the scene, but I hope that they can get the eyes of some of these kids, because to make your kid excited today, you need to get them the new Xbox with 60 games, and they're on the phone, and what you're competing with. And here there's kids that are 12 years old. There's nothing more disgruntled, upset, and cranky than a 12 or 13-year-old generally, especially if he's a boy, sullen. And these kids are attacking it. It's kind of looks like they're rolling out Play-Doh. But look at they're like.
Also, there isn't one phone out. There is not one phone out the whole way.
That's right.
It's great.
It's amazing.
It's great.
But the point I wanted to bring out is that, a lot of times we think that our kids don't want it. And it's please do this Jewish thing for Daddy.
Right.
You're witnessing tonight, the kids are as excited about this as their own parents.
Yes, very true.
So that's a really special thing that, that there are these hands-on things that give an authentic Judaism that doesn't need any fluff. It doesn't need anything. It's just real.
It's real.
And they connect to it almost instinctively and genetically. So get involved.
Rabbi, you're 100% right. And get involved, right?
Rabbi, thank you so much.
Thank you, Charlie.
And check out this Lex video that we have on Pesach. We'll be right back.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're right now in the belly of the beast. What's about to happen is they're about to get started with the 18 minutes. They only have 18 minutes to roll the dough and get it into those ovens. So here we are. Let me just meet somebody. Tell me how you having a good time over here.
Awesome.
Give us a little about who you are. Give me your background so the crowd sees you.
My name is Dimitri.
We know each other?
Yeah, we know each other. Well, no. We know each other, and this has been an experience exciting.
And who's this? You having a good time?
Yeah.
You enjoying? Are you beating your dad in the Matzah the race? What's going on?
You won.
I don't know.
Okay. That's awesome. Let's go. Let's continue walking through here. Hold on a second. We stopped over here. Introduce yourself to the crowd.
My name is Jack Hershkovich, and this is my son, Zach Hershkovich.
And you guys having a good time over here?
Having a great time. We just got here a little bit late because my daughter is on American Idol tonight. So
How's that for breath? We got American Idol and the Matzah Factory happening tonight in one family. This is Project Inspire, by the way. Keep it going. Okay. Rabbi, can we get you for 1 second, or you're in the middle?
I want you to turn on the clock.
Oh, we'll turn on the clock. Okay, here it goes. We have the opportunity right now to turn on the clock.
18 minutes.
This is the most important clock you're going to find. If you think running the clock at the Super Bowl is important, this is so much more important.
18.
18?
As soon as we tell you hit the clock, that's what you got to do.
Okay, I'm ready.
When it hits 18, it goes, and
And we run through.
we're done.
Okay, you tell
Okay,
me when.
ready?
Ready? Did I get to go? Go. Clock is on. Check this out. 18 minutes. That's all you got. 18 minutes to get the dough rolled, to bring it into these ovens, to bake it, and ready to go. It's really, I think it's pressured, by the way.
Yeah, I feel like this is like when you're in the last quarter
Yeah.
and you're down,
Yeah.
10 points.
You gotta get, without fouls. This is March Madness, Jew style. So that you know, this is March Madness. 18 seconds. You got to get it all done, and then you can't stop the clock. You can't call a timeout.
The rabbi's like the referee as well. He's like running back and
And he knows what's
forth.
going on. He's like, nah, we got to keep on rolling. This is amazing. Let's just go meet one or two more people. What do you think?
Yeah, you know what?
Hi, how are you?
How you doing?
This is
Are you-
amazing.
You having a good time?
Great opportunity. An opportunity.
Who's this?
This is my son, Brandon.
Hey, Brandon, you having a good time? Yeah. How old are you? 8. Look at this, 8 years old. This is your first time you made matzah? Amazing. Make sure that your matzahs are the ones that you eat at the Seder. How about that?
Okay.
Okay, amazing. Nice to meet you. Thanks so much for being here. That's great. Now, over here, what we got are the people that are. So, what is your job?
The water with the flour.
So you're the one you have to measure the
Mike,
water, so
Mike.
it's not too.
It has to be 0.765.
And then you're making sure the water is right, and you keep on filling it up so that everything is in the right proportion.
Yeah.
See what's going on over here? Oh. What you're
L'shem matzah
is they're constantly saying the same words, l'shem matzah mitzvah, which means we're doing this for the mitzvah. It allows this. It's a hack, a brain hack, to make sure that the intention is correctly, to make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, because it's a holy thing, and you want to make sure that what you're eating is holy food. Check out. See, he's measuring the water in the right way over there. You're doing an amazing job, by the way.
Thank
A
you.
lot of pressure, but you're pulling it through. Now let's just go one more station over here. Okay, this is the flour station over here. How are we doing?
Mixing. This is the mixing.
Sorry, this is the mixing.
Flowers in.
What's your name?
David Groner.
So tell me what you're doing.
When the water goes in a second, you ready with the water? Then we're gonna mix it together and make the dough.
So as the water goes in, you start mixing, and you don't have a lot of time.
Once the water touches the flour, that's when the clock starts.
Well, here it goes. Here it goes. So watch what's happening.
L'shem matzah mitzvah.
L'shem matzah mitzvah. So now he starts doing it, and he's on a clock. This has got to get done pretty quickly, and you're taking the dough, mixing it in, you're giving it to these guys so they can roll it out. See how this whole rolls here? The water's got to be in direct proportion to the dough. It gets mixed very quickly. It goes to these guys that are rolling it, getting it to the ovens, and it's all happening in 18 minutes. This is exciting.
It's really cool.
I can tell you.
You think about it, in every area in society, humans are losing their jobs to robots. And look, this guy's taking the job of a KitchenAid,
and
he's crushing it.
And it's because
amazing.
he's doing it with the love and the intention. It's all within his heart.
Available for weddings and bar mitzvahs.
And this is all happening because we are blessed to have the rabbi, like Rabbi Tursky here, who is taking us into his synagogue, changed this whole sanctuary, so we get this opportunity. Rabbi, what is it like to have everybody here doing this with you?
I love it. You gotta know, I've been doing this since I'm a little baby.
Really?
Well, the first thing my father did when he came to Denver, Colorado in 1945 was build a matzah oven.
Sorry, we're getting in the way of the process. Watch what's happening. The rabbi's going to cut the dough and give it out to people now. Watch what happens. Watch how this works. See, the rabbi's going to... Here it is. Everyone's get a piece, and watch what happens. All the guys get the piece, and they start moving. This is great. Look at this. Look at this. Keep on going. Keep on going. Keep on going. Look at this guy go. I'm going with the kids.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Time to make the matzahs.
Look what's going on over here. These guys going.
The kid today. Look at these kids.
There's no dough over here. There's no dough over here. They're feeling the light in the back.
Not that I got type of dough.
Tell us what it's like to. Oh, where's my camera guy? Oh, here he is. Tell me what it's like to be here.
Oh, it's amazing.
You
It's
having
an
a great
amazing
time?
experience.
Where are you from?
I'm from Brooklyn. I'm a local Marine Park area. It's my first time doing this. It's an amazing experience.
Great, right?
I would love to do this
Are
again.
you ever gonna eat matzah the same way after this?
Oh, even more.
Even more. I love it. I love it. How about you?
I'm Felix. I'm also a local. I went on the Israel trip with you 2019 November.
That's right.
Love it being here. I'm going to appreciate every bite of matzah from now on. You know, when I'm going to be eating it, it's someone was rolling it.
Someone was rolling
When
it.
I'm going to see that uneven end, I'm going to say, well, I don't know. Maybe I could have done a little better.
I love it.
You
I
know?
love it.
Felix, you know, when they had all these challenges online, that people would call out people to do that, like the ice bucket challenge. Who do you want to call out that they have to come and do this next time? Which one of your friends?
Which friend should
has
be
got
here
to bring
next
their
time?
kids?
You know what? Well, I mean, a lot of the guys that went to Israel are all here. Let me see. Sonny, who are we missing? Yosef, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, Yosef Alvin, maybe, and his kids.
All right.
Yeah.
Does that mean all of your friends are here?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That
This
Project
crew.
Inspire
Like, people who
has
wanna-
taken not just a person, but all of that person's friends.
The group.
It's like
Group, yeah.
amazing.
Oh, these things are awesome. So let's
Everybody's here. And this is my first time here.
look at them. They're bringing them in now. What's happening is now, as soon as one is done, you see, they're rolling them into that room over there, and in that room they start checking out the oven. So come with us a little bit here. We're gonna look at the ovens. Okay. So what's happening here is you got the guys that are gonna take it. I guess what they're gonna like get it super flat. This is the quality control part of this, by the way. In case it was too, I think in case it wasn't flat enough, they flattened it in here. Look, they're all walking in. Remember we said earlier, look, they're all starting. Here comes the rush. They got to get it into the oven within 18 minutes. So they're all coming in now. These are the last guys. It's almost 18 minutes. And these guys are rolling in now. They got to get their matzahs. They got to get the pizza thing. They got to get those matzahs tight. They got to get them down. Look at what's happening over here. They've got these holes, you see? And this is how they make the holes, which I guess is there. You see how the holes, it's all part of it. So when you're eating the matzah with the holes, this is what's going on. What's your name? Hold on. What's your name?
Hello.
Okay, so when you're eating the matzah with the holes, it's because of Hillel. You think that it was just a major... No, Hillel is the one doing it. So you think like this. Hillel, you're killing it. You're doing amazing.
Thank you.
Which one's your dad? This one? Excellent. I think this matzah looks amazing. Thanks for doing it.
Thank you.
Now this is really where it gets intense. This is, I guess, the hottest oven you've ever seen in your whole life. And this individual is, I mean, literally, look at what he's doing. He's literally taking that, put it into this. How hot are these? I'm going to find out how hot this oven is. And he's literally look at these kids. These kids are taking it, unrolling it into the oven, and he is watching it getting baked until it's finally baked, and there it goes.
Look, it's so hot that if it waits more than an extra second, it actually catches fire. See that? Like 1 extra second, and it's on fire.
So I want you to look what's going on over here. Tell us what these baskets are.
So the matzahs first come out, they go onto the shelves to dry, then we put them into the basket standing up so the moisture can come out of it. After the entire run, everything is done, then we take the matzahs, we put them all onto the paper. The rabbi does the hafrashas challah, and we burn some. Those are the ones that have fallen on the floor, so they're not kosher, or they're just chametz, and the rabbi uses those for hafrashas challah.
Incredible. All right, let's get a little closer to the oven over here. Hold on. This is the bravest man in the room over here. Look how I can't even tell you how hot this is.
If you
Rabbi,
get the angle,
how do I describe how hot this is?
Well, you know what?
How much? 1,300 degrees. Right here.
Why don't we see how close we can get
No.
before it's too hot? Should we do that? No. Let's do that, Charles. Come on. Ready? Okay.
Here it is. Watch what's happening. The challah goes in. The matzah goes in. And the bravest guy in the room right here, he's working it. He knows exactly how to do it. Wow. What's that one? Oh, these are two separate ovens? So they're toggling between these two ovens. Just take a look at how much? 800 and 1,300 degrees. Watch, they're waiting, and incoming is waiting. Here comes the new one that goes in, and it's a factory. It moves, it moves, it moves. The little kids are putting it in. They're taking these huge sticks, getting them into the oven, and they're turning it and turning it and turning it. And dozens of matzahs are out. And that's how, and this is just to understand how much matzah gets being made. This is one night of work. Dozens and dozens of, this is stuff that you're eating and that I'm eating. This is amazing. I don't know, I love this stuff. Give us a second. 1,000 matzahs tonight? Unbelievable. So tell me what you're thinking as you're doing it.
Concentration. Making sure those matzahs don't burn. Leaving an extra second, the matzah is gone.
Here, I don't know if you heard that. You leave it in one more second, matzah's gone. He has to time it to the second. 1 second before, it's not going to be cooked enough. 1 second late, it's burnt. Take a look at that. Look at it. Look at you'll just take a look at some of these things you're going to see. They're on fire. Look at that. Look at that.
I just counted that actually. From the minute it went in till the minute he took it out, almost like getting ready to burn. It was about 25 seconds. You think of the heat that is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And
when
he's got to.
When you toast a slice of bread, it takes a minute just to get it a bit toasted. This is raw. You know.
All right, I'm bringing it in. What do I got to do? Shea Matzah's mitzvah. That was awesome. That was awesome. It is hot as you get closer to that. I got to tell you. That was awesome. Rabbi, grab one of those things. Get close to that oven. Thank you. That was. Oh. Oh.
Do you want to get me one?
That was great.
Washed and.
Look at these guys. They're bringing them in like nothing. They're bringing them in like nothing. Shea Matzah's mitzvah. Shea Matzah's mitzvah. Go for
Shea
it.
Matzah's mitzvah. Shea Matzah's mitzvah. Shea Matzah's mitzvah.
By far, he's going in right now. He's on deck. This is more pressuring than being on deck at a baseball game. Here he's going. He doesn't want to lose concentration. Keeps on saying the same line again and again. Go. Here he goes. Put it down and roll it. Great. Fire, Rabbi Shlomo Farhi. That was great. That was really, really great. What do you think? So tell me what you think being here. I mean, tell me what your thoughts are right now.
It's incredible. You know what? There's something about how we talked about matzah's about time, and it's like time has stopped here.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we're doing it exactly the way they did it 3,500 years ago. You took a little piece of bread, you heat it up in an oven to a hot temperature, and you're eating exactly what's called the lechem oni, the bread of the poor man, the bread of the suffering that they ate. And it's that kind of timeless transfer of me doing exactly what Moshe Rabbeinu and all of the freed slaves did. It's crazy.
It's crazy. And what I love about this is that what's great about the matzah process is that it needs so many people. Look at just what's going on in one section. There is 50 people running through, and each one has one little thing to do. And they have to be coordinated to the minute, or the whole thing is gonna drop. It is like the ultimate exercise in unity.
It's kind of like religious. It's like religious jousting. People are running at you with sticks. If you don't get out of the way,
you're dead.
You're going in the oven with the matzah.
You're going in the oven. It's amazing. And this skill stuff. I mean, you've got 1 second to make a call.
Yeah.
This is real skill. And look at these kids. They're working it through really. Just so you understand what goes on behind a matzah, it is so many pieces to it. And the best part to me is that it's made with joy. People are happy to be here. People love what they're doing.
Shea Matzah's mitzvah.
They're singing. They're saying the words out loud. They're having a great time. They're honored to be here, and that's the best part of the whole thing. Get them all in. This is the last rush. Here it is. You want to know what's going on in an NBA game when there's like 17 seconds left? This is what's going on in a matzah factory when there's no timeouts left and the clock is just running. Look at what's going on over here. The guys are rolling in for the last few. People are holding on to two poles at the same time. Trying to get as much as they can in that oven. As much as they can in that oven. Go, 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 go. Rabbi, just grab. This is great. This is great.
L'shem Matzis Mitzvah.
Check out this amazing Pesach video. We'll be right back.
There once was a time in Egypt land. The Jews were slaves in the desert sand. We cried out for an outstretched hand. Oh, let my people go.
Soon may our freedom come to bring us liberty, peace, and fun. One day when the Pharaoh's outdone, he'll let my people go.
Brave Moses with his shepherd's rod had heard the mighty voice of God. It said, tell Pharaoh clear and strong to let my people go.
Soon may our freedom come to bring us liberty, peace, and fun. One day when the Pharaoh's outdone, he'll let my people go. Oh, what shall we do with the middle matzah? What shall we do with the middle matzah? What shall we do with the middle matzah? Early in the Seder. Hide it away, it's the Afikomen. Hide it away, it's the Afikomen. Hide it away, it's the Afikomen. Early in the Seder. Oy vey, let's get some prizes. Oy vey, let's get some prizes. Oy vey, let's get some prizes later in the Seder. Soon may our freedom come to bring us liberty, peace, and fun. One day when the Pharaoh's outdone, he'll let my people go.
Now Pharaoh's heart was not appeased. No Hebrew slave shall ever go free. But Moses said, let's wait and see. The plagues began to grow.
Oy! Soon may our freedom come to bring us liberty, peace, and fun. One day when the Pharaoh's outdone, he'll let my people go. Oh.
Just lean to the left and we'll tell the tale of how we left Egypt. God split the sea and we walked across with no need for a ship.
But first, before we get to that, there's sons and questions for. Just when you think it's almost done, there's 3 hours more. There's 3 hours more.
For Pharaoh sent men after us, their lives would soon be lost. And we spill wine drops from our cups, cause freedom had a cost. Cause freedom had a cost.
So every year we celebrate our freedom with a smile. With Moses and Ramses too. Yocheved the Levi, the Pharaoh's daughter, and Aaron and Miriam on the Egyptian Nile. Hey lads, the Seder has come with questions asked by the youngest one. We'll sing and have some fun for wonders long ago.
Egyptian firstborn sons were lost. The sea of reeds we firmly crossed. They followed but was at great cost.
They all were dragged below. Hey lads, the Seder is done. We told our tale of redemption. The Shana Haba Yerushalayim.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's show. Hope you enjoyed seeing the behind the scenes in the Matzah Factory. Of course, go to projectinspired.com for an enormous amount of resources that you can use for your Seder on the Haggadah and other things. And I hope that you have an incredible Pesach. I hope that your Pesach is filled with real freedom. And so on behalf of me and mine to you and yours, I want to wish you a Passover, a Pesach that is truly free. May we get out of the constraints of our lives. May we achieve true freedom. May we see each other as the different parts of one greater whole. Just like in this whole show, we see all the different parts coming together in unison. That's what life's about. It's about doing our part and seeing greatness in others and together being more. Being free together. Have an incredible holiday. And I hope and pray that maybe we can spend it together in Jerusalem. But if not, we look forward to seeing you afterwards on another Shabbat show. So on behalf of me and mine to you and yours, I wish you a Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach, Happy Passover. We look forward to seeing you next time.